You got the box. Play with that. Take my feet one more time, man. We're gonna be scrapping, cause that hurt. Me and he gonna be scrapping, Alexander. Tack my feet one more time, buddy. We're gonna scrap, bro. Brody, we gonna They say it brings anger, red and black. But if you wear the solid of one color, it won't bring hostilities and anger. My apologies. As y'all know, our sister who created Trojan sneakers, you know, for a while she hasn't been working out, playing her flag football and stuff. She had a hormone thing. Well, the sister's doing better. She's in better shape. She's working on taking off the weight. Very athletic young sister. Some of y'all know that I was like one of the first people to buy her sneakers to keep the money in our community. That's what I do. I find people like the brother who I put up there, which called clothing, that you can buy jeans and stuff. I'm really about, like, looking for nothing. I'm really about our people keeping the money within our compartmentalization, and also, regardless of what they do, we stay amongst each other. I know some of you are having a hard time dealing with that reality. Yeah, that's what I was wearing today. Trona's wear. She's got sales going on now. I've had these for over 2 years. I got black, blue, gray, tan. You know, we our sisters and our brothers, we keep it. We spend. It don't matter if we make one of us rich. That should be not the problem. But the thing is to keep it within the community. Don't be like Michael Jordan and Shaq and all these. They control chaos. It's like these rappers. These kids are falling and listening to these goofy rappers who have sold their souls. You remember when Tupac got in the tub? That's part of it. I learned that in Scotland. Like, if you ever see your people in the tub, in the foam and all that, that's the next part. That's not checkerboards and Masonic halls. Those are chessboards. Y'all need to learn these things. You need to know these things. You dig? No name brand or one of our people created. The hell with everything else. Fuck Timberland. Forget Timberland. Forget Coach. Forget all Prada. Forget all them sick. There's a gentleman right now. His name is Ryan. Okay, let me turn this down. I need to say this before I read. Y'all gonna enjoy this. What did I do? Did I put the remote in my pocket? Oh, so I'm like that, guys. I got a package. I got a couple of books. The books I ordered. So, I'll read them with you guys. I'm just not gonna show you right now. You saw the box, and I got my lime and lemon juice, and my ginger juice that I like to have. I bought enough to last like 6 months this time because there's no telling what's about to happen. So I'm about to pour my pineapple coconut water in there and a little water and sip one out with you guys. Okay. This Vita local. Vita cocoa. It's good. Either way, it's all right. And then let me put these pills back. I'm not taking these today. I had them out, and whenever I touch pills with my hands, I don't want to take them again. Because the oil in here, my hands actually clean with peroxide and baking soda, so they're good. All right, let's put a little water in there, a little agua in there, just a little bit. Actually, this water I actually took the time, and it was sitting in my thing, and I was like, damn, I forgot I purified this water. Let me go ahead and fill this thing up. This is the empty one I was throwing at Alexander. He likes to jump up and catch it. And you can see it's pretty dent up. I was like, well, let me use this one. It didn't have no leaks, so it's good to go. Anywho, right? This guy's name is Ryan. I've been following him on Instagram. for about 8-9 months. I followed like the special force guys who would go out there and hunt down child women traffickers around in Amsterdam, Netherlands, and places like that.
Then
anyway, this gentleman,
sure you go.
his name is, what is his name? I want to make sure I get his name right. I don't want to just, okay. Ryan M. Montgomery. He taught himself, like my brother, David, how to build computers and write all kind of stuff. He's a hacker. And what he did was, he was on drugs. He was messed up for a little while. He went through some things. I was so happy I saw him on Sean Ryan, ex-Navy SEAL, he's half Korean and pale skin, but Navy SEAL, and he worked for the CIA and all that. He's really big on exposing the criminal entities, and this guy, Ryan Montgomery, busted a politician who ran twice, a Democrat, but they speak on it. They know it's on both sides. Child pedophiles, and they're everywhere. He's about to put out a list. And you know, right now, the feds and all the alphabet, little CIA and the goons are hunting this guy. He's protected. If he's around me, trust me, the guys who I've talked to about it, he's protected. These little baby girls and boys. It's not that I had somebody comment on my post on Instagram. I was surprised at him. I'm like, bruh, no, the children are innocent. I don't give a damn what children they are. I couldn't even believe this nigga said that. And I didn't go in on him. I was like, bro, for real? It's like, let's take care of our children. The hell with that. No, man. All the children are screwed up. Why do you think you're in this position? People aren't too smart. Anyway, check him out. You know, Sean Ryan, he just had a 2.5 hour, something like that live. Peep it out. And this is what we need. And that's why I'm telling you, there's more people patrolling the rail yards, the factories. They're looking, and they're even looking at, some people got some stuff. No little blackbirds better not be flying over there trying to do something. And people have had enough. And I'm like, why? It shouldn't have took this long. But because we're all the more demographically saturated in all kind of messed up ways, we the people can. Okay, cool. Oh my goodness, that is freaking fabulous. Anyway. You know, we should be one, you know, dealing with these things. But I'm just grateful there are people out here who are actually living their best life. But at the same time, they're causing an effect. And these bastards think they can hide forever, and they can't. Look at Hillary Clinton. 19 of the police officers that saw her emails and stuff, 13 of them are dead. She's got a hit list longer than any mafia mob. Her and Bill Clinton, the people that work for her, are murdering more people than you can think of. I just wanted to speak on that. So today I'm gonna turn that down. I'm not gonna play that while I'm reading. Today we're gonna start off with the women of Lemuria. In the ancient wisdom for modern times, I really want more women to come over. Let me see who's all here. Hey, Rhonda, what's going on, beloved? Hey, hey, Snoo. Trying to get the women. Original Lone Wolf, what's cracking? Well, some people came and some left. Just stay around. God, dog, man. It's not, you're not, what you're doing is not that serious. All right? I really want the women in here, though. That's who I really want in here. You know? But brothers, if you're going to come, hang out for a minute. Get your wives, your girlfriends, your sisters, tell your nieces and them, your daughters. I want y'all to come and just listen. Don't try and figure out nothing. Just, there's so many books on women I have that we can have a little more insight. Some little puzzle pieces. You don't have to take you can take it as a grain of salt, or you can take that and don't run with it and bump your head up against the wall. Take it as informative and let me read it all before you make assumptions and stuff like that, okay? This book is going to trip y'all out. Now, you know, the more expensive one is $234. Anyway, this right here, I was reading it. I was like, wait a minute, did I get a blank book? But then I had to go online and see why things were redacted, because they got rid of the lies. You think I'm lying? Watch this. Now the book is different. Oh, this much of the book right here, they redacted it. Why? Not because it was truth, or because it was made up bullshit. They went in here and they realized that the Vatican and them got a hold of this, the alphabet people, and they realized that this, when they wrote this to change the history, but then we come over here and now we get into the source of information. Just trust me on this. I'm going to get the other book. Well, you know, you guys are slacking on donating and keeping it in the circle so I can give you reading time. I was sitting there I was flipping the page like, you know me. Rob's like, oh, I'm gonna have to go over. Where's this place at? I'm gonna catch a flight. I'm gonna catch a flight. Well, I said, okay, chill out, Rich. Chill. Just keep looking. And then and then I started reading. I was, and I said, well, let me look at, that's why research is very, very important, okay? So we're going to read Women of Lemuria. An American Covenant, we're going to read that all later. And I'm still going to read the other books. Don't worry, y'all. But this is for the ladies. I just find it very important. Let me put the light up here because the light behind me, and I just don't like the way it looks. Excuse me. I don't want to put the ring up. The ring is too much. I don't know how the kids and everybody do that with the ring. I really don't. That's just, that's goofy. No, I don't want the, what you call it in it. That's good. I don't want the, might slide off. That's good. All right. And yes, it's warm. It's about 80 degrees. I'm sweatshirt, t-shirt, and tank top, whatever. I love it. Don't scratch on that. All right. Go over there and eat that salmon, whatever that is. All right, the women of this is Cryon Monica Marani with Dr. Amber Wolf, the woman of Lemuria, ancient wisdom for modern times. The woman of Lemuria. Is it possible that a place called Lemuria existed? What about the missing continent of Mu? What does being a Lemurian actually mean for you today? The answer to these questions and more is revealed in this book. Now you know what that means, right? So let's be easy, okay? Australian author Monica Marani has compiled everything that Cryon has ever channeled about ancient Lemuria and the role of women in that mystical place since 1989. Excuse me. The loving messages of Cryon have become known worldwide, and the author presents material never before published. In addition, there is a special chapter from Dr. Amber Meleha, I forgot how to pronounce it, Meleha, something like that, Wolf, who is the creator of the Lemurian Sisterhood. And thanks to Monica and Amber, we now have a greater understanding about our divine origins and how we can implement this ancient wisdom in today's modern world. Now, by Cryon, how is the Lemurian experience relevant to today? Many of you in those days were taught core spiritual truths from the Palladian star mothers, not place, and is still in your Akash, your being. Today, that Akashic seed is ready to be awakened and is ready to change who you think you are in Cryon. And in my father's side of the family language, that's an actual word. So now you got to remember, they're pale skins. Does it mean anything? Should it mean anything? I want to know. I want to see if you built up and found something. But regardless of who you think they are, if you just go and follow and look at their biography, you'll learn a lot more. Okay. All right. It gets pretty yeah. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into the reading of this. Just behave yourself, please. In memory of Martin Vallée, Sid Wolf. I'm not going to read the acknowledgments. We're just going to get into the reading. All right. So preface. At the end, I might go ahead and read that. We're just going to go start right in Ancient Lemuria, Chapter 1. The history of Lemuria. Writing about the history of Lemuria requires some unique attributes that are vastly different than writing about the history of ancient civilization, such as Egypt. However, it is these particular attributes that are most likely the very reason you have decided to read this book. It has to do with being an awakened old soul. What's an old soul? An old soul, according to Cryon, has nothing to do with your chronological age. Rather, it has everything to do with your Akashic age, which refers to the number of lives you've lived on the planet. As a result, most old souls carry a deep wisdom because they have the most experience. As an old soul, I'm not going to, I want to go ahead. If y'all say go ahead and then I'll, you know what I mean? I'll add something in it. Okay, well, this one I have to. Remember I was saying we don't celebrate birthdays. That's something brand new. My aunt, my great uncles, they didn't celebrate it. They didn't celebrate no birthdays. And it was supposed to be in our DNA to remember, pass down other things, to remember what was before, to actually see and be able to walk and see what happened in the past. Well, that's why we've been jabbed up and everything, was to cut us off from that. And some of our ancestors thought that might be a good thing, which was the worst thing ever done. All right, there you go. As an old soul, you are more apt to desire knowledge about spiritual truths. As an old soul, the messages of Cryon are likely to resonate with your own Akashic remembrance. Never heard of Cryon? In simple terms, Cryon is a loving entity who gives empowering messages to humanity that are filled with profound information, teachings, and esoteric understandings. Lee Carroll is the original channel for Cryon and has been delivering Cryon's messages since 1989. And the channeled messages are constantly evolving in response to the shifting energies of the planet and the evolution of human consciousness. There is always something new to discover. And that's what makes it so exciting to be alive. Right now on Earth, that has graduated and is moving toward planetary peace. Before giving a detailed history of Lemuria, it's important for you to understand the spiritual lineage of humanity. Where did we come from? Are we simply a higher form of mammal evolved from Earth? Are we the product of extraterrestrials? How do our creation stories from various organized belief systems fit into all of this? What is your understanding about our origins? Your answers will most likely vary based on your own personal journey. However, the answer from Cryon is that we are part of a larger galactic family. Slowly, humanity is being awakened to deeper truths about who we really are. Now, I have to insert this because when Pelskins write something, they go with what they have. So when we see planetary, what is plane and stationary? What is that planetary, right? See, they've conditioned us to believe in this spherical ball. Now, some people still talk, but as she stated, which was a beautiful thing, in how you see it, okay? Ladies, pay attention, please. According to Cryon, our galaxy was created by the creative source, and filled with the love of the creator, or God, as some of you would say. And the physics of our galaxy is biased for completion, unfinished, balance, and life. Within our galaxy, one planet at a time, the humans have their DNA altered slightly. Listen to this. Within our galaxy, one planet at a time, plane, Earth, okay? Remember, all right? At a time, the humans have their DNA altered slightly to include a multidimensional portion of divinity through spiritual seeding, so that a test lasting thousands of years would begin. And the test is to see if humans can discover the God inside themselves and their own divinity, their connection with the creative source, and a benevolent creation system. On the planets where humans discover their divinity, so planets where humans discover their divinity, because remember there's many, they have permission to go into ascension status, to ascend, where physical reality melds into multidimensional reality, and eventually this planet becomes an ascended planet and is then asked to choose another planet in the galaxy. To pass on their sacred DNA to begin another test, this is the system Cryon has described with free choice. Humans on Earth have been spiritually seeded as part of a loving, benevolent plan, giving them the ability to embody a soul and become aware of light, an energy created as a result of high consciousness, and dark, Jannah, the absence of light. Dear reader, we interrupt this part of the narrative to assist you with reading the channeled messages from Cryon that will follow throughout the remainder of this book. If this is your first exposure to Cryon, you may come across brand new concepts, terms, and vocabulary you have never heard before. If so, you are invited to examine the Cryon glossary found at the following link, www.cryon.com/glossary, all lower cap, okay? Cryon has told us that the seeding of planet Earth was done by the Pleiadians, making them our spiritual parents. If we look at the creation stories of indigenous tribes all over the planet, the majority of them refer to the seven sisters. Part of my story, the seven sisters. And the Pleiadians as our creators. I've never read this book, y'all. As our creators, so the answers to who we are and where did we come from is that we are a combination of an organic human grown from our planet Earth, melded with the sacred DNA of ascended beings known as the Pleiadians. Here is Cryon's description of how it all began. About 200,000 years ago, when the Pleiadians first came to Earth, humanity was a group, a variety like all the other evolution on the planet. The mammal called human being had many varieties of forms like other mammals today. Variety ensured survival. Up to 26 kinds of humans were present, but were eventually reduced to 17 kinds before the Pleiadians got here through normal evolutionary process. This was the puzzle for the Pleiadians. For in the seeding of the planet back then, the DNA had to change to allow for the spiritual Pleiadian DNA complement. Humanity needed to end up with one kind of human being, the kind that you have today, but also to have the DNA of the cosmos. That kind of human has no variety like the other mammals of Earth. As you may have noticed or not, it's the way you are today. So you are unique in an evolutionary way to everything you see around you. The process created a 23 chromosome pair, human being, when all around you there were the 24 of conventional mammals. So the fusing of portions of your DNA to create the 23 was the element of the, I guess that's why they got 23andMe, them, sorry, Negroes. Anyway, Pleiadian, who came in and gave you their DNA. In the process, many things happen simultaneously. When a farmer looks at his field and decides to grow corn, he surveys it in a different way than those who would eventually eat the corn. For the eater of the corn would ask, when does the corn exist for consumption? When does it come? Or when is it harvested? When is it ready? He would then be told it exists when the stalks are high and it is then collected, cooked, and provided on the table. That would be the story of corn for the consumer. It starts with the collection of grown corn, but the farmer looks at it differently. He looks at the raw land that has to be plowed and fertilized, tilled, and perhaps turned over a few times with other crops to allow nitrogen in the soil until the dirt is ready, carbon. Perhaps he would plant it and then take the seedlings as they came up and turn them into the ground again, 5. And you know the story. So the farmer would have an entirely different idea of the story of corn compared to the consumer. You know, what? I must create. See the different eyes. The first look, about 200,000 years ago, is when it literally began. The concept of the divine seeding of planet Earth happened at that point, and the fields metaphorically started to be plowed. There is an issue, and we're going to call it the way species work with Gaia. Mother Earth, that's all it is. Lilith. This is something that happened simultaneously with the grid creation of Gaia. For now, we give you something that no one has thought about. And when we speak of the grids of the planet, you make an assumption that these grids always existed on the planet. For the planet is old, and you might say, well, the grids have always been there. But I'm here to tell you that only one was always here, and that's the magnetic grid. But it was spiritually void. That is to say, it only had that which was created from the Earth's core movement. Today, when we talk about the grids of the planet, our conversation involves the consciousness of humanity, which is imbued upon the magnetic grid. And we also tell you about the crystalline grid and about the grid of Gaia, consciousness. Both of these react to human compassion, grounding, the truth, walking in the light of it, not in the darkness, to know that rest is important, right? Now, here is the puzzle. If you don't have divine human consciousness, then what about the grids? Do you exist without the human being? And the answer is that they needed to be created simultaneously with the seeding of the divine DNA. So what the Palladians did was not only to start the seeds of humanity's change into divine DNA, but they created the conscious grids of Gaia as well. And they had to, for the conscious grids of Gaia are a confluence of humanity's decisions brought to Gaia's energy. And the consciousness that we are talking about is the spirituality sanctioned human being that exists with a piece of God inside them, and with DNA that has 23 pairs of chromosomes instead of the common 24 that all the others have throughout biological evolution. Let us back up and say it again and make it simpler. My partner, now in brackets it says admonition to lease to speak more plainly, and the triad of grids on this planet that we have spoken of over and over are the consciousness grids of Gaia. And were created at the same time as the seeding of humanity with Palladian DNA. For all the teachings we've been giving, especially about the crystalline grid, these grids have been reacting to human consciousness and compassion. Therefore, the very essence of the current Gaia energy is also related to the creation of humanity. And these are the attributes of the Palladians' work 200 plus 200,000 years ago. And it was done quantumly in ways that you have no conscious awareness of at the moment. And for these things are beyond your ability to understand right now, since you are still in a single-digit dimensionality. But the result back then was a conscious Gaia, water overflow. So you might say Gaia itself was actually created quantumly from the seven sisters' energy, just like you. Check this out. The Gaia that existed before then was still Gaia, but not as it is now. It was a Gaia that was creating the dirt on the earth and the energy of biological life on the earth. It was the mother of all life on the planet, but not a Gaia that responded to human consciousness. That's very different. So Gaia greatly expanded when the Palladians came, and that was by design. It took 110,000 years for this to settle itself, and for the ground to be ready for more than 16 species of human beings to leave, so that only one was left. And when that occurred at approximately 90,000 years ago, it is when you can start calibrating who humans were and who they became. Remember I was reading about every 5,110 years there's a reset? Well, go back and do the math. And that there's an enemy. And that we had those who walked with us, who were royalty to us, who we buried with us. The others. Now, what about all those other types of humans? And how did they leave? I'm going to give you an attribute of something that exists even today. This is difficult for my partner, for he has not heard this before. This information has not been brought in this fashion before. And so go slowly, my partner. The variety of species on this planet comes and goes accordingly, as they are needed for the energy they create. So one of the tasks of Gaia is to create and eliminate species. When they are no longer needed for the purpose of Gaia's development, they cease to exist and they die out. If new life is necessary, if new concepts of life are needed, Gaia is cooperative and they are then created. The actual creation of species is something that environmentalists have not clearly seen. That is to say, the mechanics of how it works is not fully recognized as something that is strongly coordinated with, excuse me, your weather. But you have already seen the mechanics of some of this. In your long-term studies, you have already noted the coming and going of many species through the ages. It's ongoing, and that is facts, regardless of 100 or just changing or just not existing no more. Or, like I said, what we've been seeing is a rush. This is nothing normal about what we've been seeing in the last 2 centuries. To see bison nearly wiped out in a 10-year mark, and for them to come back and to be over a little over 1 million now, Are you seeing the spider monkey almost went extinct? His fellow cousins started to cannibalize them about 60 years ago out of nowhere. Everything has order to it. The appropriate the appropriateness of the elimination of species. Now along comes humans, and they see all this coming and going of living things, but they want to save them all the species that exist. And for in their linear, and for in their linear mind, all species should remain and exist, since they are here. That one-dimensional way of looking at things. The attribute of Gaia, however, is to eliminate them, cull them out, to bring in new ones. I just gave you the mechanics of the reason species come and go. It's appropriate and is a natural building process for new species. When the Palladians started to create the grids of the planet, Gaia cooperated in what was to come and knew the purpose and what was needed for survival of this new spiritual human. Gaia knew this since the energy of Gaia had seen it before. How many of y'all ever saw that Japanese anime, Akira? Oh, there's about 12 more I can just pop right off the top of my head. But how many of y'all? Dragon Ball Z is another one. But how many of y'all ever saw Akira? Okay. If you haven't, check it out. Reason given below in brackets. So the old attribute, which needed many kinds of human beings, slowly died out. It was natural. There was not a war. There were no horrible plagues. There were no volcanoes nor tsunamis that consumed them through attrition, appropriateness. In 110,000 years, they disappeared. So approximately 110,000 years ago, there was only one kind left, and this is science. For everything that you study will bear this out. And anthropologists have already seen it and have asked, what happened back then at this time? That would have eliminated these other kinds of human varieties. It's a puzzle in science that I have just answered for science looks only for physical events as triggers, as evidence. But instead, it's the marriage of Gaia's consciousness that you call Mother Nature, or Mother Earth, one and the same, which facilitated this. It's the same today when you see a variety of species diminish as humans take over a greater portion of the earth. I'll call this the appropriate elimination of unique life forms, which allow for the growth of global awareness and quantum evolution. Some species only exist to allow others to climb the ladder of nature. Then they disappear. Gaia knows what the ladder looks like, and you don't. In the spiritual link, and we'll cut it off after this. So historically, this creation of one kind of human also started the esoteric engine of the pattern of spiritual life on the planet, where you could then start to measure the soul energy, a quantum energy of spirituality that is allied to Gaia. It's the very work that you are, and you remember we were reading about the source, going back to the source, 31 to 32 ounces that everyone has, even that fetus. And they can't explain it. Attempting today, as you try to track the history of spirituality and what it's been manipulated, remember that, what the intuition was of the creator of that system. Human consciousness is quantum energy. It is the sum of all souls. They all go back to the source, people. And we come back, or we don't have to. Now, we're at 90,000 years ago. We are looking at the human being who has 23 pairs of chromosomes, and the ones of the seven being, the seven sisters, and one of the seven sisters. It then took another 50,000 years for this human to develop into a quantum, sentient human being who could put together a civilization without any previous organizational model. It takes generations of trial and error for this. Even though it seems normal to you today, all cooks know that it takes a very long time to cook a quality meal without a recipe or anything. How long would it take a human who had never seen a kitchen or food ingredients to create a truly gourmet 7-course meal through trial and error only? It's similar. It's similar, and things did not move as quickly as they do today. And this was the very beginning of humanity trying to figure out how to make things work for groups of humans together. Wisdom is learned this way, and time is the stove of the wisdom mill. The attributes of consciousness, time, patience, people, attributes of consciousness that the Palladians put in place through a 23 chromosome human being created growth. And every single generation got wiser with time. Eventually, far beyond Lemuria, human DNA would develop an efficiency that will allow for what you see today. The divinity inside a human being that is recognized and sensed almost at birth in a population of almost 7 billion people. We're more than 80% believe in the same God and even the afterlife. Today's civilization. And we'll get into Lemuria's history tomorrow or maybe later. I mean, this book is it's an enjoyment. It's an enjoyment. It's an enjoyment to read. Y'all need to understand this. Okay, let me I don't want to mark this book, y'all. Okay. I've got a whole bunch of these book things downstairs, and I'm not going downstairs to get them. Oh, this fell over. My apologies. Again. That's good. I don't want to just use anything. I've got cards. I don't want to use the card. I can use this cards right here. This is good. My mullein leaf extract card. Now this one, we're going to come back and we're going to read this. This right here, it might stir some of the guys. You need to have self-control, people. Remember, we're looking for puzzle pieces. We're looking for things. Regardless of the people, because you can write something and you know good and well what you write based on how you live, what you see, your perception, your opinions, and whatever it is, whatever you want to reference as source. Excuse me. This right here, I was reading this one. It's the women really gonna this one, and that's gonna get more women. Don't worry. It's gotta lay a foundation for those of you who read a lot and you know what I'm talking about. And it's magical. I didn't read a whole lot. I had to read a little bit, and I was like, whoa, this is gonna be really good. This one, let me just give this to you. An American Covenant, a story of women, mysticism, and the making of modern America. Lucille Scott. An American Covenant, from American Covenant. What follows is the story of roughly 1 year from November 2017 to January 2019. Convenient? I frequented the New York Public Library and the multitudinous mystic offerings that are available throughout the 5 boroughs and beyond. I chatted with wise witches in New York City, LA, West Virginia, Texas, Salem. I listened to a feminist astrologer portend that in 2020 humanity would begin transitioning into a 2,000-year era of either matriarchy, or chaos. Communal peace and love are trivial. Listen to this: trivial fear and loathing. The choice was ours. And I keep telling you that the women are very powerful, more powerful than us. But we're powerful to protect them. There's 2 different forms of power. One feeds the other. It's a circle. And that's where people have gotten off with this fake small hat nonsense that has put one woman under the hill, broken our family where the balance once existed up into the 1960s. The perfect balance. And the whitewashing of history and lies by Andy Griffin's show and Little House on the Prairie and all that nonsense to which wasn't being lived, because I remember what I saw growing up. I saw us powerful. I saw the women, the mouthpiece, and the men, deacons for justice. How come they don't teach the story? I want to make a movie. I really do. The deacons, you know how many Klan men they killed? They the ones that stopped the Klan. They talk about the FBI got involved and they broke the Klan. No, they was killing Klan members left and right. And see, they don't tell you that story. Oh, I know, because I had a great uncle who was part of that. Or uncle, I call him great uncle, who was part of that. You know, down there from North Carolina, living in Alabama. Was it Tennessee? They go and meet them heads up and shoot. And that's why the NFA was created. It wasn't just because of the Black Panther Party, because you had people training them from the Deacons for Justice. Boy, they scared. When, oh, look, armed up. But see, now they got all these little wars and these little youngins going special force, this, that, and other. Well, we got plenty of us too. But you have niggas who have just don't know what they've done. They made bad choices, and even in their false development of lies. But there's still plenty of us who don't care about the other. That's a real truth. But our women, we have to protect them with everything, and our children are the most precious gems. And we need to make more because they've been killing them, and our sisters listen to this foolish music and everything else, and because they're making mistakes, y'all have murdered more than any number ever, and that's not natural. From Rockefeller and Bill Gates' daddy to Margaret Sanger, Walter Plecker, and a whole lot of them, Albert Pike, it's been a decimation after decimation, and we need to curtail that. And I have no problem with my brothers as brown and yellow and all that, as long as they recognize the reality of truth, that they have been played out themselves. They have been lied to. That's why there's a book that I have called The Relationship of the Negro and the Jew. Now, it's a perverse damn book as far as I'm concerned, but it's a for ethical reasons, it's a great read when you know. You know what I mean? When you know the print shop, the people behind it, when you can sit there and they say, well, look, I'm going to talk about this individual's a pedophile. I'm going to talk about this individual as part of this family and why things are the way they are. Yeah, I'm going to see his feather up. Come on live, brother. Why are you over here? But anyway. Oh. All right, I'm gonna give you a little dip. Oh, it's got the feminist one, man. Kind of got me a little riled up. But it all, when I read, I don't read with prejudices. I just read, and I'm like, wow, you know what I mean? Now, when you know things. When you don't know, you don't know. Okay, and it's good. And that's where the benefit of researching material comes in. And I just really want my sisters to know that they've got a brother who is really there for them in more ways than one, but as well, other brothers need to know these things. Okay? This one starts off. Now, I'm on this one, when I actually read it, I'm going to read this part right here, the coven. Okay? And a note from the top of books, which, no, I'm not going to read that one. That's kind of sucky, really. Honestly, I didn't like it. And then we're going to get into part one, Mary LaVue, the Voodoo Queen of New Orleans, becoming an American. The small girl with big eyes and brown skin watched the flag bearing 15 stripes and 15 stars as it lurched like the head of an inebriated chicken up the pole anchoring the Place d'Armes. Or maybe she didn't watch at all. Oh, this one right here. Oh, no. We're gonna get that a little later, y'all. Oh. What was that? All right, let me holler at Rondo, Gray Wolf, Original Lone Wolf, all my wolf brothers, Herbo, Snoo. Excuse me. My apologies. As you read, I know they will. Palladians, yes, ma'am. And I've got a few books, and even in I can't wait to read these to y'all. As far as the Iron Republic, and then when we get into, when the Anakin, like Star Wars Anakin, like those who are the giants that fight with us, and a few others, and the Palladians, Sirius Star. When we talk about, we know there's a dome membrane, and we know of all the other Earths with membranes, because I really believe that, y'all. And on solid, because now in the Antarctic, they're talking about all the things they're finding out there. Duh, that ice hasn't always been there. It's put there by somebody. Anywho, right? The change, and everybody's talked about it for the last 10 years, right? Am I right or wrong? 7 to 8 years. Everybody has talked about this change. And it came out of nowhere. It's not out of just reading. It's sources in all kind of places. Not everybody's reading the books that I read, trust me. And I remember, because I remember telling people something's changing. I could feel something. I had stopped drinking for like 7, 8 years, people. Like, I just didn't want no drink, like nothing. I was running all the time, this, that, and the other. Everybody's looking at me, feeling a little jealous, whatever. And the women were like, is he going to the sweat lodge with the women? Like asking for me to go to the sweat lodge? No, you gotta go butt naked. No, so I go on with the men. We sit around butt naked, and sweat our ass off, and on ayahuasca or whatever, anyway, and come on out. And here we are. All the things are unfolding. Is there a supreme being of creation? Of course, there has to be. There's no way around it. Even in a story that I know is an ancient story that I know they're scared of when I tell you about the pale wolf and the dark wolf. It's real. I don't have to make it real. I've seen enough. I don't have to manipulate it. And that's another thing. Somebody said, that rock is really, listen to me. And I had to snap at him. That rock really is magnetic. How did you do that? I said, if you touch that rock one more time, I hope you drop dead. I wasn't being ugly and facetious. I'm sorry. I said it because that is what I do in my little space right there is sacred. And he was just like, I was like, if you saw me doing it, why would you even think that it's without even asking? Because I didn't believe. And see, that's the problem. There goes the ignorance that we deal with today. I say, who do you think I am of the land? He's right down here. Matter of fact, his truck is there, so that means he's probably sleeping, worked all night. He says, you're probably the indigenous people, the real people of this land. He said, but you kind of look like a native. I was like, here we go. I pull my hat off with this fro. He's like, well, you got some Spanish or something. I was like, you already know that. I've already told you that. I'm autochthonous. That's the only word that I respect. I'm the original inhabitant of this land. As you may be a distant relative as well. And I said, but never touch anything. Matter of fact, don't even look over there. He says, brother, but because he's conflicted. I didn't want to hurt him with words. I says, don't worry about it. Because he saw me the day I was showing you guys with the camera that it's magnetic. I went out, that as well. And he went and put the rock and was like, holy smack, it stuck to the side of the rock. And he's like, how did he do this? And he sees these rocks around. He's even built him a little tower over there. It's not how it works. When you ground yourself, your feet in a certain position, you certain number of rocks, certain kinds of forms of rocks. You have to find these rocks. You can't just put anyone. And the circle has to be damn near perfect as far as Visceral. And then you got to make sure you step true north. And you must dig your feet in. It don't matter if you cut the bottom of your feet or whatever's under there. You must allow your feet and its protons. It's a grounding effect. It happens, and you must stand on your head. I go in the room and I stand on my head. You've got to do these things. There's no way around it. And you must fast, even if it's intermittent and you can't go a few days without food. You have to reset. Now, y'all know what happens May 24th. 25th, I don't eat. 26th, I definitely don't eat. I meditate. I'm not on this platform. Everything is shut off in here. 26th, 27th, still fasting. 28th, I come back. I have to reset the blood. I have to purify it. None of this crap. The birth year, one time, but significant to every year of resetting your bioflavonoids, your fluids, and everything else. So I'll be walking around in the skimpiest of my linen or silk kung fu uniforms, hugging trees, sitting by them, out in the sun, burning, doing what I have to do to allow my fluid to descend, which is always in a state, ascend. All right? What was it? We know it's another land on this plane beyond. Yes, son. Platers is no confounder when they call me. Yes, ma'am. Yes. West Side, Yola. I know you're going to talk about podcast. Awesome. But reading's got to do it. Mikey Hill. Herbo. What was that? Pleiadians are light beings. We are light beings. Yes, we are. We are. And that's a fact. You got me thinking about the flying lights. Wow. Children of light. We're sentient. That's right. When people say the soul and spirit on the inside, no. We're batteries. It's all over. We're also, they made us believe more physical than illuminating ourselves. Remember we used to learn in the 70s about the aurora around us? We need to let it expand. We need to let it increase. They want to dim it because they're perverse. The source before the light. And this is things that I've been teaching. Good, you're learning. They're not starting Cali. Nope, it damn sure didn't start in Cali. But we will let that be. It turn back to the source. Charles, hey Charles, how's it going? Please educate all children every day. But we must be a tribe. We must be a tribe. Be a clan unto a nation, and a nation unto the people. You get what I'm saying? I don't know how long I've been saying this, and I don't know how much longer I'm going to continue to say this. At every state, there is an evolutional period. There's a jump. There's I guess you could say interstellar. Interstellar. Has nothing to do with some fake movie. Yeah. What you believe being serious, it's bigger than that. We can say it's a no playroom, a no playground, and it can be misconstrued and mistaken because the world is one-dimensional in thought and theory, and they're relative to that. And when you start pressing up against that wall, and then you realize that you're not really held in, that these walls, that you can knock them open, then what you perceive is a lie. You start stepping into the truth in a whole different way. Doesn't matter. Like, you won't deal with people the same way, and they will probably be like, oh, like terrified, like are unaware of really what's personifying. You know, when people heard me say, because some of y'all know me from childhood, know, you know, I'm not a violent person. When I was going to deal with that individual, is because I believe my energy allowed that negativity to feel challenged. But I would just as soon end the battery. Natural law, natural order. And me not thinking about the perversions that we see what's going on in the world. You feel me? Charles Johnson. Anyway, I appreciate that. So we'll be back. Westside's talking about doing a podcast. I've been saying I want to do one because there are some things that need to be addressed other than this. But ladies, get more sisters to come over, and this is what it's about. I'm going to go ahead and shut it off to my beloved sisters and my brothers for stepping in and paying attention. I appreciate you. We're going to read some more for the ladies later on. And it's going to be the American Covenant and a little more of the Women of Lemuria. And there's a few more books I have about for the women, but I really, really want to get... Where's it at? Yeah. I really want to get to this because even though I'm done with the We Indian stuff, I want to solidify it with these 3 books. I don't need those over there. I don't need those I just got. I might have to use them. All right. These 3 books right here. Now, this is a sister in pale skin. Now, the pale skin where she got her information from was based on the 1400s. All right? Not out of Africa. Black people are indigenous to the Americas. All right? And those people sit there in their ignorance say, but you could... No. We have people all over the world who know who we are. And it's just a handful of strength. That's what we tell the Navajos. They don't even argue with me. You were in Mexico, bro. You know what? When Mexico you was, where you was close to, you know where the Mormons are at? It's like, well, that's why the old ladies just want to put their heads to mine. And they respected me, telling people to stop. Like, want to argue? I said, don't have to say nothing so much, because you know I'll knock them out. And she was like, no hurt. Some of them don't know. And I was like, okay. Well, I tell them to their face. I don't care who they are and what they think. Because how do you think the children of this land really feel? we're being lied upon by these small hat. I'm gonna chill. We ready for the ladies? Let me get off of here. Okay? I appreciate y'all. Hey, West Side. Hush that up, vampire. I'm not gonna post that. I was gonna put that video on. I mean, that post on here. I'm not gonna do that. But I appreciate everybody coming. And holler at me in the chat and let me know some things. All right, what we're gonna do if you're gonna do a podcast. Appreciate it, brothers. Love you, sisters. We got to get y'all right, and it's only gonna be us to do it. Us together. There's no other way. Appreciate everybody coming in. Y'all have a wonderful day. And I'll see y'all later. Hit me up, Westside, and let me know.